Overplaying over blues rock changes is as timeless as slamming glizzies at a baseball game, and as much as you hate to admit it, nobody does it better than Joebonamassa. I meant overplaying over the changes, not the slamming glizzies at a forget it. He's like the Nickelback of the blues world. He's insanely wealthy, everybody in the scene knows his name, and the only time you say you actually hate him is when someone puts on his music and warns you that it's him first. Today I'm here to offend and defend this blues rock titan. My name is Zach, welcome to Audibly Dumb. He's a hack, he's a vintage guitar elitist, he's not even that good. But enough about Rick Nielsen, let's get back to Joe. Homie slaps. I mean, sure, he's got an ancient fan base in that whole Vegas show-tuney vibe bullshit thing he's trying to do now. But don't you forget that giant nerd from Who Gives a Fuck New York is one of the baddest, nastiest blues rock monsters to ever walk the face of the planet. I can remember exactly where I was the first time I heard his music. It was 2014. I was in my first apartment. A luscious cloud of Afghan Kush filled my room as I scoured the internet for only the tastiest of musical slappage. In my distorted state, I randomly clicked on a video that was the evolution of blues music. Started off with Robert Johnson, T-Bone Walker, people like that, before getting into Freddie King, B.B. King, Albert King. And through the years, blues just got more and more just more. Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, Paul Kossoff, Jeff Beck. They were taking it to this new place it had never really been before, and eventually that went into Gary Moore and Eric Johnson. And from there, the torch had to get passed on to someone, so apparently the only logical sense was this chubby kid from New York that kind of sounds like Kermit the Frog. Holy shit, are Joey B and Patrick Mahomes related? When his name showed up on the screen, I was so confused. Who the fuck is that? And then his picture showed up, I was even more confused. And then the riff that I would very soon find out was from a song called The Ballad of John Henry. By the time the vocal came in, I had to know more about this guy. He dressed like he just got rejected from the Men in Black, and then his playing was like a combination of, well, every name that I just mentioned a moment ago. I've actually never thought about that before, but that's pretty fucked up. How the hell does that work? He sounds like himself and everybody else at the same time. Does that even make sense? None of this makes sense. I'm cutting this out. I guess to sound like Joebonamassa, you gotta take every blues rock great that's ever lived, take their stylistic tendencies, their techniques, and their overall vibe, mash them all together into one person, and then learn how to sing like an omnipotent deity looking for new members. So why does this guy get all the hate? Well, I'll explain. Simply put, people hate when you're great. I know very little about this personally, but it's all just facts. Sleep Token, Nickelback, Creed, Joebonamassa, Jets Pizza. Hey, real talk, Jets Pizza fucking slaps. And those that say otherwise, yeah, they're ordering that late at night right after smoking a mad fatty. They're gonna be taking that thing down. My point is, when you do something so well that it captures the masses, you open yourself up to a lot of judgment. And unfortunately for Joe, he speaks very, very openly about how much money he has. He's got more gear than Keith Richards on a bender. And in general, he can just have a pretty snobby kind of standoffish attitude when he talks. But that being said, you don't know what it feels like to be the best in the world at something, so how can you judge? Most of us don't even know what it's like to try to be the best in the world at something, let alone actually getting there. Hey, I'm working on it though. Hit that subscribe button, B. Now, am I the biggest fan of his latest work? No, his last couple albums haven't really struck my fancy. Am I a fan of his latest live performances? Also, no. I've seen him 2 years back-to-back at Red Rocks, and both times it's just, he's pandering to a much older audience than what I'm used to seeing, and do I judge him for that? Absolutely not. These old wealthy white people make him an incredibly wealthy and famous man. He'd be an idiot not to lean into that. But like real talk, Joe, if you ever watch this, like your audience is old as shit, dude, and it really affects the overall vibe, man. Having to sit down on a Red Rocks performance, kind of a sin. Kind of a sin, not a fan. But enough about the recent stuff. Go back and listen to some of the older live stuff he's released. He's done a ton. Live at Rock Palast, Beacon Theater, A New Day Yesterday live album, Royal Albert Hall, the numerous Red Rocks DVDs that he's done. I mean, sure, you get glimpses of the theatrical side that would eventually take over the vibe that he has right now, but come on! The volume in his playing, his phrasing, his dexterity, his speed, and whether it's as quiet as a funeral or as loud as Glastonbury. The guy would play his fucking heart out and every single note would be intentional, tasteful, and cleaner than Marie Kondo's condo. So stop pretending like he sucks, you plebeian fuck. He represents the average guy that gets so good at something he snaps his fingers and panties just drop. And yeah, those panties might be 70 years old and the person wearing them is old enough to have been present at the Alamo, but those panties are still dropping, goddammit. Go home, Fred, you're drunk. Turn on some Joebonamassa, close your eyes, and let your insides feel what this man has to offer. Jesus, that sounded sexual. Whether you admit it or not, homie's a legend, and he's gonna be remembered forever, mainly because people like me are going to constantly remind you that he is one of the best to ever do it. Also, his gear collection is what happens when you give an irresponsible nerd a hilarious amount of money and just a little bit of real estate. Oh my god, what a collection. Thank you so much, Joe. You're the man. You're always going to be the man. And those tight suit pants really tie the room together, you little blues heathen, you. My name is Zach. This is Audibly Dumb. Thank you so much for watching. And always, if I say something's cool, it's 'cause it fucking is.